We talk a lot about business planning here at Taking Care of Business. More importantly, we have a lot of different people talking about business planning, not just to reiterate that it's important, but because we know it's also hard to get your head around. And the more different people talk about things from different perspectives, the more likely it is that it eventually something is going to resonate with you and sink in. Today, we have business advisor Brian Childs from the Small Business Development Corporation. They're an amazing free government resource assisting small businesses in WA, and Brian's just one of the fleet of fabulous business advisors who's part of the team. Welcome to Taking Care of Business, Brian.
Hi, Jane.
G'day. So today we're talking about business plans. So why is it important for prospective and actual small businesses to have a business plan for their business?
Critical. Everyone wants to know how to get there from here. That's called strategy. And a business plan encapsulates strategy. Strategy, how to get there from here. Encapsulation, put it into a single document. Not only does it tell you how to get there, it tells you how you should measure yourself. Most business people need to know how I'm tracking against my target. And we recommend minimum monthly review. That is, checking how they're progressing towards the destination. They want to win. And effectively, it's checking in to win. We recommend checking to win at least once a month on how you're tracking against the targets.
Okay, so it sounds like there are a few elements of a business plan that we need to incorporate. What are the elements that you would suggest we have?
There's 4 crucial elements. Element number 1, the management strategy. Who's going to run this show? Because horse races are run by the jockey driving the horse, not the horse. The business is the horse, the jockey is the owner. Got it.
Oh, like powerful analogy there. Okay, we're the jockey of this pony.
Well, guess who gets the money? The jockey. The second one is the marketing strategy, attracting the clients that you want and being able to convert those clients to a sale. The third one is the financial strategy, how much you're going to charge, what your costs are, and making sure you're making a decent margin. And the last one is operational, how you'll make or produce the goods and services you're going to be offering. So they're the 4 elements.
Okay, operational is an interesting one. Can we talk about that a little?
Well, taking you as an example, you provide a service. How's that service constructed? What equipment is required? What skills are required to maintain it? What are the costs of assembling and maintaining that service? And how do you measure service effectiveness with your clients?
Okay, so that's the inputs that you're dealing with.
Correct.
Okay, got it, sort of. Rightio. I'm the worst one in the world for business planning. And so my theory is the more people throw this mud at me, one day it's going to stick.
Well, you've probably heard this saying before, but failing to plan is planning to fail. And no one sets out to fail. No one gets married to get divorced. No one starts a business to go on and fail. But sitting down and preparing a business plan does reduce your risks of failure. It enables you to be efficient with your resources and have measurement points against which we can check how we're tracking.
Now, you've talked about that, the checking. How do we incorporate that into our business plan?
That's a conversation, or in terms of execution, it's a conversation with your accountant. But in terms of planning, at the very least, we have to do a monthly cash flow forecast for 12 months. Now, the only forecast that's accurate is that all forecasts are inaccurate. So if all forecasts are inaccurate, why would you do a forecast? Answer, to reduce your risk. Example, I don't know what the weather's going to be tomorrow, but I can tell you it won't be minus 15 degrees and it won't be plus 60 degrees C. It'll be somewhere in the band of 20 to 25 degrees C. So I can dress for that. I can configure for that. So business planning means you're forecasting within a band of certainty, and that reduces your risk.
I guess it also reduces your costs as well. You don't need to be prepared for all of these things that's going to happen.
You don't need to be prepared for everything that's going to happen, but when something happens that's a variation on your original plan, you can immediately process that variation in terms of magnitude and scale. Magnitude. Is this a mortal, fatal wound we're suffering, or is this a minor scratch? And scale. What's it going to cost to fix this up?
Oh, look at that. I feel like I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons now, actually. A mortal wound. Sometimes they just feel like mortal wounds. Now, when we're talking about these KPIs, how we're tracking, we're basically talking about fiscal, monetary, economic things.
Commonly people would interpret KPIs financially, but another KPI can be owner's work hours, or another KPI can be client retention, or another KPI could be average client spend or frequency of client spend. So there's a wide variety of KPIs. There's no single narrow band of 5 or 10. So the next question, of course, is which KPIs apply to me? And the answer is that goes back to what your master objective is. What is the master outcome, total result you want to achieve? And we build the KPIs against that.
Oh, my goodness. So it all goes back to the beginning then.
Yes, unfortunately, it always circles back to the original core idea and the original foundation concept. And when we're talking to someone that's starting out for the very first time, the very first thing we ask them to do is to prepare a personal budget. Now, the question is, why would you prepare a personal budget when I'm planning a business? Answer, the business has got to pay you that amount. So a core, key, foundation KPI, can the business pay you? And if it can't, you'll have what's called skinny kids. Your children will starve slowly in front of you. So the message here is you've got to be able to pay the butcher, baker and grocery people out of the business. And that's a critical foundation KPI before we even start. If we don't see the numbers there, we don't go any further.
This is Brian Childs, business advisor, tough love giver at the Small Business Corporation. He is not pulling any punches. And that's what's great, actually. You don't want to throw yourself into a business and, discover that you can't pay your bills.
No, I mean, here's a question for you. Would you just decide to drive to Albany without bothering to check whether you had any fuel in your car and whether you had any money to buy fuel from time to time? The answer is no. You'd stop and do some visualisation and some anticipation and some measurement.
Okay. Put fuel in the car.
Reminder.
Yeah, note to self. So if you, it's pretty easy, It's pretty easy to create a business plan and then go and double check it and cross all the T's and dot the I's and then go and start your business. But what if you've already started a business?
Even more so, it's critical that we do a business plan for several reasons. One, we've got history behind us, and history implies the future. If a business has been turning over, and I'm plucking figures here, 600,000 a year, and the owner wants to turn over 6 million next year, not very likely. So history implies the future, number one. Number two, it helps us to identify existing inefficiencies because businesses are often put together as a patchwork. There's no coordinated approach. So by doing a business plan, we find the gaps, and we can go back and fill those gaps in and make the whole thing more secure. The objective is summarised as minimise risk, maximise gain. That's it. Those 4 words, minimise risk, maximise gain. That's the reason for doing a business plan.
So it should actually be easier to write your business plan if you've already started your business.
It is easier because you've got history and you've got records to turn to.
Yeah, you've got a good idea. It's not all pie in the sky stuff.
Exactly. But for someone starting out from scratch with no history whatsoever, there's some simple techniques that we can teach them. Some examples include contacting people in a similar but not necessarily identical business in another state and having a frank and fearless conversation with them about how they started out and the trials and tribulations they encountered. Now, most people, when I suggest this, look at me blankly and say, would someone tell me that? And the answer is, the experience I've had when talking to people interstate is they won't shut up. Because for the first time there's someone actually interested in what happened to them. And they can give you all the trials and tribulations and the tips and the traps and the techniques and what to watch out for. And then you prepare your crude, basic, thumbnail dipped in tar forecast and send it to them. And they will tell you where you went wrong. They won't do it for you. They'll only tell you after you've done it how badly you did it. But now you're pulling down on knowledge and skills from someone that's not a direct competitor but understands the industry.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Understands the industry. That is perfect. Is there any other help that you can get to write a business plan?
The best person to write the business plan is someone who has a key stake in the business. Commonly with existing businesses, the owners don't have time, they're time poor. If they had a business plan, they wouldn't be time poor. So now we've got a chicken and egg situation. Mm-hmm. So the best person to write the business plan is a key stakeholder. Commonly, if the owner is a male, we suggest if they have a life partner, that the life partner write the business plan for them. Now that's a double-edged sword because the life partner has a key stake in the business, but the owner is time poor. However, the life partner has access to them. And we suggest a half-hour contribution to the business plan on a daily basis, and progressively over time the life partner can assemble a business plan. And they go beyond that now into actually making useful contributions to the management of the business, because they can see by the conduct of the owner where the obvious weaknesses are.
Ah, interesting. So you've said that if the business owner is a male, what do you suggest if the business owner is a female?
If they have a life partner, they ask their life partner to participate in writing the business plan.
Same.
Yeah, it's someone who's a key stakeholder. So if you have a person who's young, single, and they don't have a partner, a sibling, a parent, someone who's a key stakeholder in that person's life and existence. The people we'd like to get to write the business plans are people who have unconditional love for the business owner. It's a personal relationship thing. The skills are easily assembled, but you need someone that's dedicated to the owner to write the business plan with and for them.
That's a really interesting. I haven't heard anyone ever say that before. They need to be someone that's personally invested in the business owner.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's really, I wasn't expecting that from you, Brian. I'm really touched. It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. But you know, where if whoever that person is for you, your significant parent, sibling, partner, what if they have absolutely no idea where to start? Like blank page syndrome, we will get that.
The very first suggestion I make is they go on our webpage and have a look at the very useful information we have, which is all being prepared at major cost to the West Australian taxpayer. Whoops, sorry about that.
So use it. Bloody hell, it's there.
It's all been paid for by the state government, and they love you and they want you to be happy. So
there's a lot of love going on today in taking care of business. Love it.
And we have a business plan template there, and that orients the reader to the core issues. But all business plans contain the same core issues. Who is the management? What's the financial plan? What's the marketing plan? What's the operational plan? Now, a business plan can be done on one page, and it's compressed, of course, or it can run to a couple of hundred pages, but it covers those same 4 issues recurringly. By looking at our template, people can get a feel for it. Now, if someone's listening and they want to go to their bank, it would be beneficial for them to look at their bank's webpage and use the bank's template, not our template, because when you go to the bank, and you use their template, their people know what they're looking for.
And you're talking about going to the bank asking for a loan, give me money.
Yeah, the common reason would be to either get a loan or to refinance or to find some way of making things more efficient for themselves.
And often those, I'm guessing those business plans will have the same basic characteristics of yours. You can just, It's a little bit like looking at a car. All cars have got some form of engine or propulsion. They've all got some form of brakes. They've all got some kind of suspension. All business plans are the same. They've all got the same ingredients, different weightings, different levels of detail, but the core elements remain the same. Great. So you can use any old template, but just wriggle it around. If you're going to your bank, that's a great tip. If you're looking for a loan, use their template. Let's not make this any harder than it has to be. So how often should you review your business plan?
I would suggest that someone starting out for the first year minimum, monthly monitoring. That is, checking the business plan. The objective they have will be to improve their position in some way, shape or form, commonly financial. And their method will be to measure on each month how they're tracking against that and checking against that.
You're making this sound easy, which I like. Now, is there anybody in your neck of the woods at the Small Business Development Corporation that can help with any of this, Brian?
We run a business planning workshop called How to Write a Business Plan.
Oh, perfect.
Yes, and I would encourage anyone and everyone that's interested in business planning to do that workshop. I'd also encourage people that think they don't need a business plan to do the workshop. In fact, if you can breathe in and out, I'd recommend you do the workshop. And if you've already done the workshop once, I'd recommend you go back and do it again. Oh, my God. He's hitting us with the truth bombs. I love it. Oh, God. You're guilting us into it. When's the next one, Brian? The next one is on the 5th of July and then following that the 9th of August. So they're monthly? They are, but they're on our webpage. And if those dates don't suit people, the upcoming dates are published. And, of course, it's a rolling feast. So as fresh dates are planned, they're put on the webpage. Now, how long is the workshop? 3 hours, and it's all hardcore, solid material. Fantastic. It walks through the how to. So it sets out what to and then how to. anyone emerging from that workshop will have a clear understanding of the elements, the weighting, and how to proceed to write a business plan.
My goodness, we've been told. Sometimes we need to be told what to do. And, and if we're still scared, we can go along to the workshops at it's Small Business Development Corporation. Perfect. Go and have a look at their website and you'll see all the information there. Thank you so much, Brian, for scaring the pants off us. Oh my goodness. We will promise we will get this business plan done.
Well, thank you, Jane. Remember, if we fail to plan, we're planning to fail.
God. It's like being told off. I love it. Do it. Okay. If sweet cajoling doesn't work, then get Brian Charles on your case. Do it. Thank you so much, Brian. Taking Care of Business. We'll be back next week at 10:30.